our homework. Now, I know it says 416 because really it comes from the 416 lesson. We'll be getting into 417 today, is why I went ahead and had you guys grab that. All right, but here are our instructions. So check the notes you've taken about writing y equals mx plus b equations and write the rule for each line below. Reminder, the m part of the equation, and if I was you, I would fill this in so you have it in multiple places of your notes. And if you don't have your notes out, get them out. You should have a paper that looks like this, but I'm not going to leave that up there very long because if you chose not to take those notes, I told you that's a choice you would have to live with. So I would make sure that you and your partner agree on what the M is used for and what the B is used for before you dive into looking at these graphs down here. Then, hold up. Sorry. 30 more seconds and I'll let you go. On the back, we flip it to the reverse. So, hey, be careful because on the front already my highlighter's bleeding through. My advice, and I would not do this with really dark highlighters or whatever because then it's going to bleed through to the front. My advice is to center your axes because we're not just working in the first quadrant anymore. So my advice would be to center your axes relatively in the middle of this graph space. Any questions on what we're doing? On the front, we're looking at the lines and figuring out the rule and writing the rule down. On the back, we're going to draw axes. My advice would be stick to a 1-to-1 scale. I don't know why I wrote one of the ones as a word and one as a number. And my brain is weird apparently. And I would graph all 4 of these lines. You'll want to make sure that you can at least get up to a positive 8. So if you don't put your x-axis far enough down to reach a positive 8, that's going to be an issue. All right, dive in. This should be a day where I can just kind of walk around, let you guys work, see what issues we have. And if you get done with this whole class handout, guess what you're allowed to do? Homework. I mean, or if you're done with homework, you could do it. Yeah, I would 100% encourage you guys to work together. Charlie, what are you looking for, man? So if Alex has his, we could probably share his for now to save time. The one thing I wanted to check with you on, is this yours? Because you told me yesterday you turned something in. Put your name on this thing, man. I want to give you credit, but I can't give credit for no-name papers. Thank you. You can make tables if you want. Yeah. Did I ever say you couldn't? You guys can do whatever you want. Okay, well, yeah, that one problem. And it made me so sad because I like. You know, like, I wouldn't know if you ended up using a table and you just didn't put it on your homework.
But it's more of a struggle.
You wanted that personal... Yeah, see, same mentality with the hike, right? Of, like, I wanted the struggle. I mean, or you don't even necessarily have to share notes if you just talk to each other about like what is the M, what is the B. Yeah, working together.
Sorry, I'm not really good with this.
That's why we're practicing. It's okay that we're not good yet.
It's not that. I'm guiding you through it so that you can figure it out yourself afterwards.
Charlie, let Alex help you. I think it'll be good.
Okay. So, do you already know how to solve it? Like the basic principle of how to do it? Like, do you know the equation to get to the answer? Yeah. So basically, if m is the slope and b is the y x is 0, then mx is going to be m is the slope, right? So slope is 2, and x is going to be this, right? And b is going to be y when x equals 0, so that's going to be right here. So basically, what's this? Yeah, so basically, like, what number is this? Yeah, so basically, and so m is the slope, so it'd be this number, right? So 2, and x is going to be 1 because the space is where. So basically, 2 times 1 is 2 plus b is 2, so it'd be 4, right? So 1, 2, 3,
Hey, so you're one of those people that turned in the examples from class instead of the practice page. Come see me if you just want to like talk through what to do about this.
and basically the rule is y equals 2x plus 2 because it's not always going to be 1, right? So just the amount of distance from here is going to be x. So, and then you just multiply that by 2 because that's the distance.
You are welcome. You guys should be working. I just have to make them pass out papers.
I hadn't turned it in the first time because I hadn't finished it.
Do you think you understand the concept now?
I was debating on bringing something back to school for you guys.
Really? What'd you bring?
Piece puzzle.
You're right, sorry.
Yes.
Wait, Tara?
It's like
We can do it.
Like
We can do it. Oh my god, we need to do that.
Yeah. You should not realize this.
Three of us.
Yeah, that's what I was just talking. Come see me if you want to talk about it. I might just excuse you for having this on there. Just come talk to me if you need to. You have another paper and it's partly done, that's great.
Why is there a plus?
That's a star. Meaning, hey, that's the examples from class. I didn't have my highlighter with me. Sorry, that's as good as I can make a star. So this was the examples from class. It was not the practice page, right? There was a different practice page. Right now, forget about this. Focus on that. At AO or extensions, just C.
Sir, you're the reason I'm here.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. We just started talking about clutter in foundation and how clutter is not good.
Sir, this is not clutter. This is a left tool.
It's like a Swiss Army knife.
Bingo. Yeah, exactly. Well, wait. Yes, that's what it is. So what if you like put some like
I know, that's why I don't. I was just referencing a camp I had. I got nothing. I got my wedding ring, but I took off and washed my hands.
That's why it's easier right now.
So let's make sure we all agree on a couple things before we're just way too far into class. So, when thinking about the equations of our lines, the M, Cora, the M represents what? The slope, or another synonym we had for that was growth. Right? Slope or growth. Slope. Okay. Well, the problem why I kind of want to avoid using the slash is it would look like division. Right? And like I don't want people to think that's oh wow. Thanks.
Just write slash then, like in words. Like write S. Girl, no.
Really?
Yeah. Just do that.
You guys know what AKA stands for, right? Also
Also
known
known
as
just write slash. Like it's slash is a fun word to write. Like it's so like
Slash is a great guitar player too. But
I love
moving
it.
on. And
Well,
Will,
sir.
the B. So, I wanted to circle back to this because I feel like this confused some people with how we wrote it before we started doing this work. When we wrote this in our notes, we wrote y when x is 0. And really, we probably should have put like the y value or y location. So if you need to add something to your notes of like y value when x is 0, it's where we're at on the y-axis, right? It's where we're at on the y-axis. That's why we call it the y-intercept. We can also call it like the initial value, but that's not always actually true because sometimes we started in the negative x's. So Gus, are you able to help me with A and what our rule would be there?
Can I do the y-intercept first?
Sure. We're going to write all of these rules both ways.
Start at 2 on the y, that's where the slope intercept, so it will be 2, positive 2.
Mm-hmm.
And for each figure number, we're adding 2, so it would be 2x.
So this one is kind of tricky because both of them are 2. The y-intercept is 2, the slope is 2. But the other way that we could write this, because Gus asked, hey, can I write it this way? And you totally can't. The other way we could write this, if we want it to be more like mx plus b, 2x plus 2. Right? Same thing. Means the same thing. Charlie, did you guys get to talking about b?
We started.
So I come back to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, come back to you. Mick, what about b?
So, right here, you know how if you're counting down from here, it is 0. So basically, you're counting the line, the dots, you know where the line is right here. Basically, if you stay on the 0 axis,
So, look up here real quick. Charlie included. Look up here real quick. Sorry to interrupt you, Alex. If we look at the y-intercept, where do we cross the y? And you could highlight this or circle this. Our y-intercept is 3, right? So you might make a little note on your paper. Hey, that's the b, right? Because b is y-intercept. To figure out the growth, we look for that growth triangle or the slope triangle. guess what? 4 compared to 2 is the same thing as 2 compared to 1. So our equation then ends up with a slope of, well, 4 over 2 is the same as 2 over 1 is the same as just 2. So, they're the same slope. 2x, but plus 3. Now you could also say 3 plus 2x. It's just nicer to get us in the habit of this. Not here. Ella, what about C? Can you spot the y-intercept? So that is not the y-intercept. This is the, this is showing us our slope. This is showing us our y-intercept. So if we need the label on our paper, that's why I gave you this paper as a paper you're never turning in. I do not want this paper back. I want you to keep it as your reference. So our equation here becomes y equals, guys, this is where it's tricky. You could either write 8x plus 5, but if you start with the 5, it's going to be y equals 5, no x, right? Because that's the y-intercept, plus 8x. So 8x plus 5 or 5 plus 8x, but that slope has to be attached to the x. Questions? Do we need more time for DEF? Yeah, so I'm going to leave these up here with the answers up here, so you can double check these if you need. Keep working. I'll probably give you like 10 more minutes before we come back together to chat about like everything else.
Explain it. You already know the rule and stuff like that. So basically, the y-intercept is right here, right? Even if it isn't or not. Do you understand that? Okay. So think about negatives.
It's a little tough to see x.
You're going down. So what would this be?
I would just try to figure
You're
out
going
that
down. Yeah,
it's a bit easier to see where your axes are.
Yeah.
More big.
Also,
Infinite amount of
negative
big.
1 would mean
That's not true. It's pretty close.
Remember?
Not honestly, but
Does that make sense?
dude, I think I've opened this cabinet before.
So,
And the funny thing is,
one,
since I've opened this cabinet,
this would be
it's gotten more full.
So basically,
I don't like what it's more full
do
than
you
it
think you got
was.
it now?
I'm not joking. I'm not. It's from out in the family room because graph paper just keeps coming to me. Like I don't even ask for it. It just shows up. Seriously,
You'll never run out.
that's the goal, right? Never run out. By the time I run out of graph paper, the society will probably be this. We'll all be like writing on tablets. I had to pass these papers out. We were watching the video yesterday, and I got distracted by the video. Oh, you turned in both, so you're fine. I probably wrote this before I saw your other one. You're fine. You're good. It's all good. Because I'm changing grades as quickly as I can. Like as soon as I put. So whenever you turn it in, if you don't turn it until later, I'll get to it tonight. Yeah. Thank you. If you get done, you may work on homework. For getting down and then like arguing ice cream flavors or something silly, that just feels silly.
Now I want ice cream.
I always want ice cream.
I always want cookies ice cream. I crave it every time.
Pizza too. We did a math problem about pizza in the last class. Wasn't even. I didn't even make it. It was straight from the textbook.
Just stop talking about food. Actually, I'm eating.
You guys know that after this class, you get to go to lunch, but I have a club, so I don't eat after this because I'm monitoring the club, and I have to wait longer than you guys. Do you really think with the amount of conversations people are trying to have with me that I could actually eat during the working club?
Yes, sir.
Well, you're right, but most other people do, especially Alex. He's not even playing board games, but Alex is always wants to talk business with me. Neither 8th grader Alex. Oh, yeah. We weren't.
So it can be a bit confusing.
Oh, I hate this printout.
But you actually
Thank you for. Is that 6 or 7?
focus on just this part right here.
Friends, we got to talk about 417.
They just love there.
Cora, Cora, I owe you candy because everyone will appreciate that you pointed that out.
Exactly.
So.
Do you know where the So if you look at the rest of the example, okay, that doesn't follow that rule. Never mind. So you know right here where it turns into positive, there's enough room to write the slope.
I'm waiting for someone to call on me.
Because
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you called on me. So in 68 on 417, what Cora just pointed out, and all of us should say thank you, Cora, is for some reason when this image got pulled from CPM over into my homework, because like I made these homeworks, I don't know how, but it got all glitched out and like the lines of like across didn't stick. So then CPM reworked their online book and they fixed it to actually have the tables. But all you need to do is connect your 0 to your 5 so you know those go together. Connect your 0 to your 4 so you know those go together. And connect your -2 to your 7. So essentially all your Y columns should be shifted up to line up.
Oh, can we just like shift them like down?
Or the X's you could shift down, sure. But like, so like this. So this 30 has no match. This 200 has no match. Right? The 4 and the 13, the 3 and the 11, that's a band. The 2 and the 9, the 1 and the 7, the 0 and the 5. The 0 and the 4. I mean, you could just do this. Right? You could just draw lines to kind of show, like, actually, that makes more sense.
I didn't like this one. I didn't like this one.
Cora, whenever you want candy, come see me. Because I know sometimes it's, like, not right now. Let me save that. Well, why didn't you bring it up to my attention?
Yeah.
Then I would owe you candy.
Like, what if you like?
But it's wrong.
But you might get insulted. Exactly. So,
Friends.
okay, I'm sorry. Like, I know you're not the type of person, but like,
you know,
I'm sorry. Like, I know
so
you're not the
focus
type of person
only
that'll
on
be like, no, that's wrong. You're
so
dumb. But like,
the slope is is basically
Okay.
you're moving
Like,
the
No.
square this way, and then whatever squares are left
Exactly.
to get to the line.
Guys. Okay. True story time. So last night, I'm in my shop, so I'm trying to get you guys over this fear of teachers that I don't know who. Like,
Exactly. Embarrassment. We're afraid of ourselves. Yeah.
so last night,
Yeah.
I'm in my wood shop, which is just my garage. It just sounds cooler if you say wood shop. Text comes in. Right, look at my phone. I'm not going to say who this was, but it was a student from Phoenix, right, 7th grade, saying, Mr. Hudson, I need help on this problem. It's not on homework help. So in my brain, I know exactly what has happened. This is not a homework problem. It's an examples from class problem. It's the 3, 2, 3, 4, 5 thing where you're working on what's classwork thinking it's homework. So I respond back, hey, pretty sure you're actually working on the examples from class. Make sure you're doing homework. They double down. They double down saying, yes, I know it's homework and it's not on homework help and I can't figure it out. So I help them through the problem because I don't want to like fight with them and make them feel bad. So I just help them through the problem. This morning, to make sure that we're turning in the right papers, they say, hey, student, so I'm trying to protect their identity, just so you know, and they're like, I know, like they'd already figured it out. I'm like, that wasn't your homework assignment. That's why you couldn't find homework help. But do you think I'm upset or mad or care that they're embarrassed? No, and they shouldn't be embarrassed because we all make mistakes. That was my fault, right? The 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, I had one out earlier. It looked identical. You had to pay attention and actually read. I should know better. You guys don't read.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
math posture.
Shots fired. I'm surprised none of you guys got mad about that. All right. So, all of that to say, even being interrupted from my woodworking, having to stop, get the sawdust off me, go inside, get my laptop out, none of that made me upset. I don't get upset. If you guys need help, if you think something's wrong, speak up. The worst thing that we'll do is like laugh at it together. Like even if you were dumb, which happens, we're all dumb every now and then. The worst that will happen is I tell you to take your hand, go like this, and boop yourself in the head because that was silly. That's the worst that will happen. You guys gotta quit being afraid of teachers.
We're not afraid of teachers, sir. You need to get a little bump on your head. Okay, get to your head. You're not afraid of teachers.
I'm still gonna judge myself. Okay, for real. It's not.
Beatrix. Speaking of judging yourself, Beatrix, or D, what would the equation of our line be here? Y equals what? Y equals what?
Oh, D.
Yeah, D.
Oh, okay. Negative. I don't know.
Negative 2x because this growth is negative. For D, this growth that you can't see is a 1. This is 1 up on the x and 2 down for the y. Our growth is negative. For E, Maddie, what do you got for E? Well, this one's weird. I'm just drawing until you start talking.
Be louder.
2x plus D.
So if this is 10, right, this must be 8. So let's double check our slope triangle. We went up. I don't know what color's right. We went up 8 and we went over.
2.
So guys, everyone go back to the front. Look at E. Trapdoor. The scale of the x-axis is not the same as the scale of the y-axis. They changed their scale. They set a trap. So if I write this out, it's 2 and 8. And if I think about slope being delta y over delta x was 8. Delta x was 2. What's 8 over 2? So this slope here is 4x plus 8. They set a trap door.
So I got it kind of right though.
You got it kind of right. You fell in the trap though.
That's me.
Sorry.
I would have gotten out of it.
You're in the trap going, but I knew the y-intercept.
Bingo.
But you're still in the trap.
Well, we're gonna be like a Jumanji. Someone can take me.
Jumanji?
No, I got the 3 lives. I got 3 lives. I got one. What?
It's Jumanji.
Jumanji.
It's an A.
What?
All right, let's try this.
No, I.
Class answer for F, the equation for this line would be y equals
Negative 4x plus 12.
negative 4x plus 12. Love it. Negative 4 because the slope triangle shown to us here. Of course, attached with the x because it is the slope plus 12 because that is the y-intercept. On the back. Whoa. Why are we packing up?
I just out of curiosity. You have 2 minutes.
So on the back, if you made, like, hey guys, please don't tell teachers how much time we have. I'm pretty sure we can all tell time because, like, they let us teach children. So I think we can tell time. Like, we know how much time is left. We don't have bells on purpose. Guys, I would always bolden your axes. I said don't go crazy with highlighters. But guys, pens, like you can use colored pens and they will not bleed through. Who can tell me how to, well, not who, let's use cards if it works. Amir, how can I graph A? Start at 3, okay. So that was, I did what the 3 told me. What about doing what the 4 tells me? Do you want me to move on? Owen, your card is literally next.
So 4 is basically 4 over 1. So if you follow the rise over run, then you would go up 4 and over 1, and then put your next point. You can also go down 4 and over negative 1.
Aha! And once we have 3 points, we have a line. 2 points don't count as a line, by the way. I mean, they do, but in math, we start to talk about you need 3 to make sure your line is straight. 2 points could be on anything. 2 points could be on a curve. 2 points could be on a... Yeah, I won't go deep into that because we're running out of time. So for y equals 3x, Claire, can you talk me through graphing that?
You start at 0.
Ooh, because I could write a +0 here if I want to.
There's no y-intercept really, other than 0.
Okay.
You go, it's 3 over 1, so you go up 3 over 1 to the right.
Up 3 over 1. Up 3 over 1. Are these slopes parallel for the first 2 lines?
No.
Slope of 3, slope of 4, they are not parallel. If I keep going, I can see that these lines do not stay, but here they're getting wider apart. If we keep going down, like Owen talked us through, do the opposite. Go down 3 over 1, down 3, ooh, uh-oh. Getting closer, down to, I hit the line.
Oh, no.
Intersection. Sorry, my brain is on football. Intersection of the lines, not interception.
Oh my gosh.
That's what happened to the Maryland football team when we trounced them. No, I'm not really that big into football. All right, real quick, because we got to at least do one negative before we get out of here for lunch. So, C. Alex, can you talk me through doing C? Where I start, what I do?
So basically, you start 8 over the 0, and then you count down 3x every time.
Down 3. Well, be careful. Down 3 of the y, actually.
Yeah.
And then over 1. Down 3 over 1. All right, pack it up and head to lunch. If this does not make sense, please come work with me. AO or extensions would be fantastic.
Sir, do you want a red rose, a white tulip, or a tan lily of the valley? Yes.
I mean, roses feel real like hoity-toity. Like, oh, you got roses. Like, my wife doesn't love roses, so I'd probably go lily of the valley. Yeah, she likes like irises.
No,
and
not
other-
for her.
Well, I know, but like just me in general. So I don't love roses. I'd probably say lily of the valley. Or what was the other? Well, yeah, and
How today?
what was the second option?
It was a white lily valley or a tan.
Tulip, right? Yeah, one of them was a tulip.
You said white tulip or tan lily of the valley.
No, I said white lily of the valley. Tan tulip or white lily of the valley. Lily of the valley.
Tan tulips actually exist.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I don't love roses.
So do you want a white lily of the valley?
Sure.
Or do you want a white tulip?
Whichever you think like works with me better.
If you ever need help,
You know,
there's
Like,
also-
does my personality lean towards tulip or lily of the valley?
Sweet.
Is lily of the valley poisonous?
Yeah, it is.
Because that could kind of be like, you think I'm just a mild mannered math teacher, and then like we start talking and I slip in a dad joke, and you're just like, oh,
Okay, but like that's not poisonous. That's just kind of like how you do it.
to some of you guys. Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah, you're killing.
I just had the best dad joke for the situation. So basically, remember you were saying do problems D, E, F?
Yeah.
And I'm like, sorry, I can't hear you. I mean, like, deaf.
Oh. Yes. So this turned into a giant disaster of like confusion